You know where else it's going to be really hot, and it's been really hot?
Mm-hmm.
Spartanburg, South Carolina.
Yeah, it's because that state sucks, but that's fine.
I feel like there's some deep-seated stuff we have to – should we unpack that now or –
No.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll get to know me. Don't worry.
I know. We're going to have to unpack it at some point.
Oh, we will.
Spartanburg, South Carolina, which is also the location for Panthers training camp, toasty. And it's funny because with this year being so different than last year for the Panthers. By the way, yesterday was the anniversary of the first time we saw Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield out there battling to be the starting quarterback for the Carolina Panthers.
Gosh, that brings back so many terrible memories.
So it's been a year, right? Like, look at how far we've come. You know what I mean? There's no competition anymore. There's optimism. There's less like, well, I guess one of these guys has to be the starter.
There's hope.
There's hope. There's a lot of it. And that's what I'm getting at. The team especially, like I mentioned how the Washington Commanders, their team PR is very obviously goal number one is to make Sam Howell look good. Every highlight he has, they're putting out the video. Every deep ball completed to Terry McLaurin, they're putting out the video. For the Carolina Panthers, it seems like their goal is to just show how much excitement there is. So for every play, like every highlight they show, it's not just the highlight, it's the highlight, then pan to the crowd to show everybody in attendance and to show how excited everybody is. But half the time, they're like showing the crowd and everybody just looks hot. They have smiles on their face, but like towels around their neck, sweat stains all over their shirt.
Yeah.
Like they're grinding out there. But they're there, right? And that's the important part. They're there and they're happy and they're excited. Bryce Young brought the people out even when it's 112 and 180 degrees. Even when their blood is boiling, they're still out there. And Bryce Young and the Panthers understand the importance of what's going on now. Right? We heard from Scott Fitterer earlier last week. Might have been earlier this week. They're all bleeding together. It actually was this week. I know that for a fact. About how important reps are for Bryce Young and snaps, and he needs to get the practice reps. And they're not going to do anything until he's ready. And the only way to get ready is to practice. And the only way to get ready is to get snaps. And the only way to get ready is to practice. And we've heard a similar sentiment from Bryce Young. We've heard a similar sentiment throughout the offseason from Frank Reich. So with that knowledge, we know that they care about practice reps, which means they also care about who he's getting those practice reps with, right? I don't care. I don't want to say I don't care because I only care about the extremes when it comes to training camp stats, right? I don't care if you throw an interception in team drills. I care if 50% of your passes are intercepted in team drills, right? I care about extremes. I don't care about the stats generically in training camp. I do care about reps, and I do care about who you're getting those reps with. Right? They understand Bryce Young needs to be out there getting practice reps. He needs to be building chemistry with every snap. He needs to be getting to know his receivers with every play. He needs to be throwing it as if the receiver is going to break out when the receiver breaks in, so he and that receiver can have the conversation on what did you see? Okay, I need you to see it the way I see it, and this is what I saw. Those things need to happen. So yesterday, we were talking with Chris Lee, WRAL-TV, who's out in Spartanburg, braving the heat to cover the team for us, for you, really. And I asked him, I said, who is Bryce Young throwing to at camp? Who's getting the reps with Bryce Young? This was Chris's answer.
So you see a lot of him and Adam Thielen. You see a lot of him and DJ Chark. You see a lot of him and Laviska Shenault. Laviska Shenault has been an interesting one because the Panthers have been lining him up in different places. He's been coming out the backfield for handoffs. He's been coming out the backfield, catch passes. So it's been those guys and those three guys. And then after that, I would say it's probably Shi Smith and also Terrace Marshall Jr. So it looks like for right now, the Panthers are going to be leaning on DJ Chark and Adam Thielen as their starting wide receivers.
That's very interesting for a few reasons. One, no mention of Jonathan Mingo. Now, we know that Bryce Young has been throwing to Jonathan Mingo occasionally because, again, we see the deep balls that are connected on. But I think it's safe to say that he's not, right, like one ready for this? A reference coming.
Yeah.
I took a creative writing class in college.
Oh.
Right? Yeah. One of those, right? No wrong answers, just write your story or whatever it is. And our teacher, one of the pieces of advice that she gave was like write an outline of what your story is going to be, and then fold it up, throw it away, right? Crumple it up, leave it in your house, and go to the library and try to recreate the outline. And the argument was, you're going to remember the good parts, right? The parts you forget probably weren't the best parts of the story, right? And I was like, all right, that's kind of clever. So I bring that into other things of my life, right? That kind of thought process. So even if Jonathan Mingo was out there occasionally, Chris would have remembered the good parts. You know what I mean? So the best plays, the most often plays are coming to you from Adam Thielen and from DJ Chark. And he mentioned Laviska Shenault getting reps up there in creative ways. So the wide receiver depth chart is one that needs to be shaken out, right? Because coming into this year, they had Jonathan Mingo, the second rounder, Adam Thielen and DJ Chark in free agency, Laviska Shenault they traded for last year, Terrace Marshall Jr. was a second rounder not long ago, Shi Smith was a sixth rounder not long ago and already kind of making a little bit of a name for himself as a returner. Like that all needs to be shaken out. And Bryce Young and who he has the best chemistry with, they have the best chances of getting on the field the most. Who does Bryce Young trust? So if Chris Lee, when I ask him off the top of his head, is saying it looks like Adam Thielen and DJ Chark, my brain goes to, all right, those two guys are going to be the ones that have the most of Bryce Young's trust. Now, Adam Thielen is a 30-some-odd-year veteran who hasn't been as productive as of late as he was at the peak of his powers, but you know you can trust those guys, right? He knows how to be a pro. He's going to be where he's supposed to be. DJ Chark is coming off an injury. He's a bit more of a home run threat. He's the one that I think is going to be very interesting from a production standpoint. Coming into just a couple days ago, if you asked me who's most likely to have 1,000 yards receiving for the Panthers, I probably would have said Mingo. But hearing that response from Chris Lee, I think it's DJ Chark. He's been a 1,000-yard guy in the past, I believe, one time. And if he can stay healthy and he has the faith of the quarterback, watch out.
I think it was 2019 Jacksonville. Last year he was fully, really, truly healthy.
Yep. Exactly. So I'm looking at this and going, maybe our Panthers' expectations outside of everything being built around Bryce Young might not be the exact players we're thinking of, especially if Laviska Shenault does turn into that kind of mini or Deebo Samuel light who's getting the ball in a million different ways, because you have to be on the field to execute those plays. But at least let's bring it all back. At least we're not sitting here debating Sam Darnold to Baker Mayfield based on how they were throwing in routes on air, which is what you were doing exactly at this point last year.
For that QB battle, I say with air quotes.
That oh my gosh, did you see them throwing? There was no defense on the field. One of them was a little behind the receiver. We didn't have to do any of that.
No.
Which is nice. It's Bryce Young's job.